you can see we've had a problem. Whilst I was letting this dry, I had the window open, and the wind from over there blew over here and pushed this off the two stands of paint I'd left it on, and it's broken the gun. Now, what I'm going to do is probably a bit unorthodox. I'm going to use a tiny touch of Tamiya extra thin to melt the plastic there. Literally give it 10 seconds, and I'm going to lift it up. Nope, it's gone. It's come off. So plan B, I'm right-handed, so we'll turn this around. Plan B is super glue. Just touch the ends with my fingers. And super glue is a bit of a pain to get out of this. Right, so I'm going to touch this into the super glue. It's never going to hold on there. What I need is to build up a little bank of blue tack. So let me trying to hold the gun end in that tweezer while I do this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to build up the other flat tweezer, a support structure just in the right position so that I can lay the gun barrel on there to dry. So something like that, except you can use the putty or the blue tack to straighten it up. Okay, so I will literally leave that like that, lined up to set. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, dry fit each engine after removing the blue tack from within. Let's see if that worked. No, it's solid. Unfortunately, it's solid. Yeah, they're both solid. This was marked to be the left. And it goes on pretty well. To me, that looks like a win. The colouring is nice and even. I think that will be fine. The other one, that's a win too. Colouring is maybe not as even, and it does need a bit of a squeeze downwards to get it to align properly, but it does align. There we go. So that will be fine. So both of those are okay. Let's have a think about camouflage. So if we go to a reference 109, this is an E series 109. This is the all grey colour. So they've gone with all grey underneath, and then these straight lines. I want to get these straight lines, but I want to maybe look at something a bit more on top. We probably need to get some more of the Helia blue on top here. The other option is more like this one. So this is a Helia blue underside. I'm not doing the mottling, but again, it comes up quite high on the side, but it's a grey top. So I'm a little bit torn. I don't think this would look right with Helia blue down this side. That needs to be a solid colour. But I like, again, the sharp lines of the coloured camouflage. So what we might consider is a grey dark green. So I've got this dark green, or I've got a slightly lighter bronze green. So I might go for the dark green, matte dark green, and then I've got a green grey, greenish grey. So I might go for those on the wings, but change to a standard grey, either this grey. So I've got Helia blue, that's Helia blue. I have Helia grey on the top sides here. So if this has gone off enough, I've just noticed something that needs seeing to there. So I might mask this off and try some Helia blue, so Helia grey. Oh. This is going to go from the wing root to the nose. Just on that line to there. Right. Let's do it this way. So that's the line I'm going to go for on this side. So above that line will be grey from the roughly the canopy forward. So I'm going to go from the canopy forward in grey. So we've got a point grey, but then we can mask the rest off later. I'm just going to push this into place here. The wing doesn't matter. The wing's going to get camouflaged later. So I just need to make sure that this deep line here, you can just about make it out. There's a deep line there. That needs to really, really take the masking tape in. So I'm going to use the blunt side of the knife. Just make sure I push the masking tape in. And the nose should be like that. Now, I have got some bendy masking tape, but I'm not going to use it for this. The other side is going to be grey from just above the wing all the way back to the tail. Now we've got a problem with the wheel. The wheel has bent over. I don't know when that happened. I don't want to bend it back by manual force, but we're just pushing in the masking tape anyway. So I might apply some cement to it, give it 5 minutes to start melting the plastic, and I'll bend it back. I'm just using my finger to go into each of the panel lines with the masking tape. That looks good. I'm straightening this up now. Now it's soft from the slight glue. There we go. Straightened it up. That's now straight. I need to be careful of dinging the tail and dinging the gun now, so I will place it like that while I prepare more masking tape. And we're going above that line, so we will roughly line it up. Like so. It looks about even both sides. So I'm looking down the length of the aircraft to see that the line that I've picked is the line the tape is taking. Again, we need to push this in, especially into these two panel lines. And again, I want to line it up and put this piece of masking. I've just realized the other piece is upside down. We actually want to mask top down, not bottom up. So from the wing root out to the tail, like that. And then the same this way, from the wing root out to the tail, like that. I can just cut that excess off. When I come to take this off, this masking will have to come off that way. Otherwise we could damage the wheel again. But I'm hoping that this has gone off enough, this first this layer of acrylic. And just thinking about whether to mask the underside here. I think I will. And we can flick this over. We can go right up in here. One piece. You can actually get the second piece. masking in right into the wing root or the tail root. And again, can use the flat size of these blunt tweezers to just get a good contact. Now I'm going to paint that wall and this wall with this Hellier grey around and up the nose. I'm going to paint the entire top except for maybe the canopy with it, and maybe the down the back without it. And I don't need to paint these, so all this will get a camouflage, but I may do the inside of the fins with it. So this is completely fictional. This is overflow paint, which I didn't notice on the upper surface. Okay. Let's just final check the masking. I'll be careful around the nose not to damage the cannons that are in. And before we go too much further, let's not put that down on its wheel again. Let's just look at these. Do I give these a coat over the top? I think I probably do. They certainly might need a bit. So what I'll do is we'll start the grey there. It's just, I don't think this is very soft either. Yeah, this needs this needs working on. Just mixing it in the lid just to smooth it out. I'm not going through the same problems I had with the blue, the Hellier blue. There's actually a natural bevel, a molded bevel in the plastic, so I'm using that as my stop point for the grey downwards on these. It's actually a bevel just to make sure I didn't leave paint in it, and exactly the same on this one. Like so. Actually need a cocktail stick to get the excess out of the fork. Fork there. There we go. Let's see on this side. There you go. Now let's do the plane itself. So we'll start from the nose, just work backwards. So going this way. As long as I don't get the gun, we can do pretty much as we please here. It doesn't matter about hitting the wing either. And so long as we go away from the masking tape, the tape will help us do the fuselage side pretty well. The Helia blue showing through here a bit at the front, so I'll just dab that again. Carry on painting. Just making sure I get into the wing root quite well, because there's some detail down there, and we had that putty, of course. Okay, just been a bit careful there, a bit coy around the Helia blue. I still see it through, because the blue is quite a strong eggshell style colour. So we're just taking it in, taking it into the panel lines and everywhere as we see fit. So you're going to leave that to settle. Let's get the tail right. And the same down this side, because otherwise it'll annoy me. The masking's actually lifted there a little, so I need to take a little bit of care getting it right. Getting it into the wing root detail, back along this way again. I'm just trying to kill off the sky blue, the Helia blue now, because it's just not conducive to the look I want. So again, it's just very fictional, but it should be subtly German, Battle of Britain sort of colour. I'm going to do the inside of the tail fins as well with this grey, because that would sort of suit. The outside I'm going to do in the same manner I do the top of the wings. So the inside is neutral to the outside. So the outside here, you can't see what I'm doing. So this surface and this outside surface are going to have this squared off straight line camouflage, but the inside edge here, these are going to just be grey, this sky grey. So I'm putting it on now. Okay, and we will literally give that a third going over in a moment. So from the nose's point of view, can now see the shine. That's where it's not dried yet, obviously. We will just cover the Helio group, Helio grey, clean the brush. So this is where patience comes in for me. This is where you really need to be patient. But what we can do while we're waiting is we can start to think about the lines. So what I'm talking about is as we come to do straight lines, we want to sort of, you know, put masking tape so that we get a straight line. And with a very soft pencil, we can think about this. Now we need to remember that the engine nacelle will be on. In fact, that nacelle's got a bit of excess paint on it, so let's just dab it off with my finger. So I think the first one, the first color will go on solid as a single piece, and I think that should be a darker gray, not the green. I don't know which of these greens to go for yet. I'm tempted by the green grey. I've got an olive brown. I don't think the brown would work. Let's just look at some reference material again. So that's a dark grey. So we have the mix of light grey, dark grey, green on the 109, which I quite like. So what we've got is a mix of the 1940s sky underneath, which is the other 109E4 model I've got, then this grey, then a darker grey. So we might go for actual grey, which is called Gru Grey. I actually have two of them because one is new and one is old. But because I've now got a thinner, the old one may be revivable. So let's just try and mix this in. It's not bad. So we'll go with this on top. This is an actual grey. And a different brush. We won't be able to mask this off yet. We're just going to give the top of the wings their first coat. So let's brush this on. It's definitely a darker, bolder grey, and we will go along the leading edge carefully. Like so. Doing the leading edge and the edge of the nacelle. Now I can see the plastic line that the nacelle had. That's the first wing Done. What I need to do is mix this up some more because it's already going down to the mix. Yeah, the thinner you've just seen me put in problem. So if I now hold this the opposite way, very gently, start painting the other wing. I'm sorry I'm not looking up right now to see if you can even see what I'm doing, because I'm just trying to get the leading edge right. The other wing's a lot better than this one, both in terms of the underside blue, but also the fit. I actually didn't notice there's a bit of a gap there. It's hairline, but it's quite obvious. So let's just smooth out the coat. Now the good thing is about when you've used acrylic, you can either use water, or in this case I've used the thinner fresh to actually give it less brush marks. But this one is going on really well. The other wing is almost nearly dry now. I can see it's almost nearly dry, but we'll need another coat. So what I'll do is I will not worry about the spine of the aircraft. I will just get actually won't worry about any of it. I'll actually put this grey away, let this dry for 10 minutes and come back to the grey proper. In fact, what we may do is the top of the engines with a very small flat brush in the grey now. So I can follow this line. It's very subtle that there's two different greys here, but you know, and I know that there are two different greys. We know what we've done. That's part of the fun of doing it this way. You know what you've done. You know what pleasure and what pain you have endured. That's the first one. And that's the second one. Okay. Clear this up a second and we'll just get those exhausts over. So here they are. They are dry now. And we're going to dry brush them with black. So let's get the black out. And sponge is your best friend here. What I will do is I will get a brush, I will dab it in the paint. So it's not loaded up, it's just covered. And then we will take until there's very little coming off. Literally very, very little. That. And now I will brush it on. Maybe too dry actually. That's working quite well. So dry brushing silver, I would do it until there was nearly nothing showing. Dry brushing black, because black is such a strong color, you need a little bit more on. But they all look very greasy but silver at the same time. So that's going to dry. We'll then just look at fitting them on the instructions. What I'm going to do is clean up my brushes a second, because there's a lot going on now. It's the flat brush from the Helia Blue. This is the small flat brush from the top of the engines. One of the detail brushes. This is the flat brush from the grey. Needs a bit more of a scrub. That one's upside down. Right. Let's just consult the instructions again then for those engine numbers. So which one of these is which? (46D) and 49D go into the right hand engine. So 46 and 49 into this one. So what I'm going to do is move these out, some space in. So these are tweezers I don't need right now. Tweezers. With the craft knife. We're going to lose the Plasmo putty because we're done with that. I'm just going to make sure it's tightly on because that's brand new. This one is no more. It's, I'm afraid, going in the bin. We can move that. So we've got the top of the cocktail sticks. And we can move some of these out of the way. I do have Humbrol colours around. That's a metal coat one. Don't use them very much, but I do have them around. That's the grey. I'm going to go with the green. Super glue. Nope. That's my other grey. Put that back in there. This is the black. This is the matte green, the dark green. See, grey green or dark green? I might go for the actual green, the dark green, because we've got a lot of other greys going on, haven't we? The green grey will go back in there. And we will now look at the numbers again. What's the number? Actually, I was just thinking, should I black the propeller and everything? I think I will. So this is a number 1 brush. Quite annoyingly, it's got bits sticking out of it. That's better. Okay, I'm stopping there. I don't like it. I'm going to use some of this. This is flexible masking tape. I'm going to start with the other engine while that one dries a moment, and I'm going to go around it because I'm getting it on the body of the paint. In fact, see, I'm being too eager for the video. That they need to dry. The bodies need to dry more. So my best bet right now is to give this wishy-washy top another coat. So that's this grey. You put the sprue back out of the way, and I'm going to do it with that one. So let's stir it up again. Let's go for a second coat on here. Inside of the fin. Don't need to worry about the colour going too far. Final brushes are in line with the direction of airflow. The only problem I've got is it's leaving quite an amount of paint in the leading edge panel line. Probably because there's too much paint on my brush. There we go. Feeling better about that already. And it's better. Again, that's left too much in that leading line. So dark grey on the other wing. And then I need to get the Hellier grey out again and do the body, do the fuselage again. Actually, got a paint build up here. It's in the underside of the wing. Now, I definitely don't want that to touch the underside of the wing, so let's just get rid of that finger. Use my little finger underneath to support the wing while I paint outwards. Okay, tail fins, second coat. This should have been the light grey, shouldn't it? Never mind. So the outside of these should be dark grey. Taking the excess paint off, that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking the excess paint off. Okay, we need to get the body Helia grey back out now. So I can clean both these brushes. Where did I put the Helia grey? Helia grey, this one. So it's hell, actually. It's not Helia, it's hell. Helia is obviously something else I'm thinking about. So I want to run this light grey. Along the front, along the edges. I want to go with the panel lines. Oh, I touched the wing there a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. Also got underneath there a little bit. Didn't mean to do that either. But these are all fine things to be fixed later on. That's the joy of modeling like this. I just wish I could get you in camera better what I was doing. So okay, we will place that down. So the light grey is now on, and things just need to be left now. So we've got 2 coats on the wings, we've got 2 coats on the tails, we've had 2 coats on the fuselage. The top plane I can't do with this dark grey until I've got the masking off. The masking can't come off until the underside is really, really dried. So we'll take all this masking off together, and hopefully the fix there will come off. When we return to do the undercarriage doors is when we'll touch up the underside sky colours. You can definitely see the sky colour compared to the dark. I can really tell the difference between the sky grey, the light grey, and the underside eggshell. So we're sort of merging the three quite well. What I'll do is just put a drop of thinner in this older grey before I call it quits. Sounds a lot better. And now I will try and mask those off with the ultra fine stuff. So put you away, put you away. Move you over there and get the ultra fine stuff. So this is Tamiya flexible masking tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start underneath the ring. Like so. And I'm going to use the dull tweezer to just push it up to the edge of the ring, but without overstepping it. I'm squeezing it with my fingers as well. So you can see that just in front of the white tape there is a grey line. That is everything that will be coloured that direction. What I was just thinking of was whether I would put the yellow on the cone like I did on this one fictionally. The tail would be different. Whether I do that yellow, I don't know, but I may do the prop hubs yellow. So like this. And this one's going to be very much the same. I don't know why the dogs are barking. They're being pests. There we go. So roughly there. And I'm taking it under each prop blade. I'm making them cross on the top as opposed to the underside, because on the top I can correct little tweaks, little bits manually myself. You may have better luck doing it underneath so it's out of sight, but I do intend on taking my time with this. So let's leave those there a second. And what I'm going to do is bring the black back in, which I never even shut. And I'm going to do the prop blades. So 2 of those forward facing are done. That's the 3rd. I'll do the rear faces. In fact, that's it's a bit poor, that black. It's a bit runny. There we go. I'll do the rear of this blade too. So there's black blades, and we'll do the yellow cone later. They'll need a second coat. They'll need a second coat for definite. So that's black again. Again, let me just do some maintenance. You're falling off the position you were in. Let's do some maintenance while I'm here in the black. Just to give it a shake up. Yellow then. So I have proper insignia yellow here. And I'm going to need a very fine brush. That's actually a bit too big. Maybe not, that'd be all right. So this is the joy of acrylics, that this is almost nearly dry. There's that little paint on it. It's almost nearly dry already. Getting in behind the blade is tricky. Now I'm not adding any more paint to the brush because this is just a first lash. Not a lot of paint is wanted because I want it to dry fairly quickly. And because I'm using a rounded brush, I don't want to leave a lot of colour on there, so you can still clearly see the plastic colour through it. I've actually touched one of the blades there a little bit, but we'll get it later. Okay, so that's the second engine nose with its first coat on it. I may do the wingtips yellow, but not just yet. So I'll just leave the yellow there, and I will again do the maintenance. I'll just tidy up after myself a tad, just to clear up some of the stuff that I'm doing. Something I picked up the other day, which wasn't in my basics introduction video, is mascol. So this is a rubber. You paint on rubber. So you paint this on, and it becomes like literally, you know, a rubber. It turns into a solid. So I'm a little bit worried as to how open that was, but that's already becoming a tacky rubber solid. See? And you can put it on to mask off an area and then rub it back off later. Okay, let's take this masking tape off the underside here. It's come off quite well. It's come off really well. And the next one. It's come off just as well. It's come off good as well. So let's go from the belly. It's left the wheel perfectly fine. Can't get that one. So that's worked to give us a hard, flat line. Let's see if we can do it with the torch again. So we can see, there you go. From that angle, you can see the line is flat and straight. There too, see? See how we've got a definite grey to a definite sky colour. And we'll do the same at the nose. Now we've actually got a bit of wing root not been covered there because it's been masked double. And we've got a little bit of bleed down there, but it's not bad. So I can clean that up either way. I'm going to go downwards with some grey in a second, I think. But we will just try and dry fit engine. So there is an engine on. I don't think it looks bad with the yellow prop spinner. Don't think that looks bad at all. If I just have a look at the decals, we had the option of the winter B. So the B, wasp, B, whatever it is, the wasp, would go on the nose, and that would set off the prop spinners quite well. So we'll take those back off and we'll give them another coat of yellow just now. I need a different brush, I think, for that. So this is almost flat, but not quite. So this is a number 2 from the works, just a Bouldermere thing. Or no, it wasn't. It's an internet one. Sorry, this is from some Chinese seller on eBay. Yeah, much better brush. You've got to have the right brush for what you're trying to do. You just got to. There we go. So hopefully you can see how much bolder one is from the other. Okay, clear that off. I think I'm done with the yellow for now. I need them to harden off properly. Ditto for all of this. What I might now do is try and get that separated from the gun. Let me just check there's nothing going to get off my hands onto anywhere else. So very carefully, I'm going to make sure that I haven't super glued the gun to the blue tack. It looks like I haven't. Me. That was scary. That was scary. So let's try and go underneath the gun with the blade and just pull the blue tack backwards, which is working. Okay, now I'm going to go from the gunner's position forward. It's 90% free. Okay. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn the whole plane around rather than struggle. Whew. No, I have actually got, no, it's come off. It's come off. So let me get a pair of pointy tweezers. Let's just take this off. So what I've done is I've accidentally glued the blue tack down a little. Okay, we're clear. What I'm going to do, if I can see it, is put a dollop of super glue on the gun so it goes rock hard. And I'll use this little piece of broken cocktail stick just to smooth that in. So that should go absolutely solid. Okay, now the light grey didn't go on there, so I need some light grey. I've got some touch-ups to do as well. So we've got the light grey and we've got the dark grey. And any brush for this will do. So light grey. Oh, not any brush, but a decent brush. Let me take the skin of paint off. Okay, and we got everything else is fine. So that was all we needed for the light grey. Put you away again, and we need the dark grey. And I need to do this front here. So what I've got is there's actually a missing line there. So we've got the helio blue underneath, and we've got the dark grey coming up. So you can see this is actually plastic showing. So that's wrong. Let's have a very, very flat brush. Like this. Done. I believe there's a bit of overbleed of helio blue onto the grey there, and a bit of grey onto helio blue there. I'll clean them up now with helio blue. Taking the excess off, just going forward there, and the same in the tail there, and on this tail there. Okay, quite happy with the paint so far. Do the underside of the engine need doing again? I don't think they do. I think they are fine. I don't think they need another coat of yellow just yet either. So it's cleanup time and end of this stream. So we've got the dark grey primary coat on the wings. We've still got dark grey to get on here, and we've still got dark grey to put down the spine and across this top of here. This is the only place without any actual paint on it yet. So we'll do that when this is all dried and can take a mask. I'm going to run the masking below this line here, which comes out of the back of the cockpit to there, and from the point of the canopy here to a point I pick probably there. Okay, and once I've masked that, then we'll put some geometric shapes in here with the dark green. But for now, if you're enjoying these, like and subscribe, please. If you're not, let me know what's going wrong. If you really want me to get a better camera, help get me on that march to 1,000 subscribers. I have other cameras, but they're terrible. They're fixed focal length. We need something that's above probably whatever's going off. But because I'm brush painting, and I don't see very many other model makers brush painting, it may be worth seeing what I'm doing. You see I'm taking my time. You see I'm using lots of different brushes. Paint is key, so the Revell paint is very important, and now I'm starting to look after it with the Revell aqua color mix. I don't know how I got along without this stuff. It's really helped today an awful lot. So certainly water is fine if you're on a budget. These are brilliant little paints, and of course they do come in the little pots with the starter kits. So Helio Blue that you've seen me put on today comes on the 109 from Revell for like £5. So you can start off with this, but I do recommend the mixer. It's really good stuff. I don't recommend the Airfix hum roll acrylics as much. I just don't think they're as nice as these. You don't get as nice a finish. And that's it. Do like, do subscribe, let me know what's going off. Thanks very much, guys.